This pattern is rotating Venetian marble derived from Italy. We've spent a lot of time in the country of Italy, primarily around the Venice region, capturing the most beautiful indigenous stones. And as you see in this pattern, there's some very interesting, unique textures that have never been introduced in the stamp market up until this point. The grout joints have been configured, not only the width but the depth, to mimic the real stone. This tool is approximately 4'6" by 4'6". And this set includes 6 rigid tools. 6 of these tools, and as you can see, when you piece in all of the tools together along with the accessory items, you're spanning an area that's 130 square feet or so. The set also includes a flexible floppy for getting up to hard to texture areas, maybe up against a building or around the perimeter of your edge form. In addition to that, the set includes 2 quarter tools, which is great, and it really greatly reduces the need for hand tooling around the edge of your forms. It also includes 2 half tools. Once again, it's great. This means that if you set your forms to the appropriate width, there's no need to have to cut the stakes. It greatly minimizes or reduces the need for hand tooling. The set comes with 2 2-foot by 2-foot touch-up skins in the matching textures. It also comes with 1 1-foot by 1-foot touch-up skin. And again, this is cut on a 45. Really nice for addressing vertical faces, perhaps on a stair riser. In addition to that, it comes with the matching detail roller for your grout joints. Not only the proper width, but also the texture to match the texture in your grout joint. Let's go take a look at how this tool works. The rotating Venetian marble is another pattern you may want to consider learning in your compacted wet sand bed. That way you'll learn about the features and the benefits of using the quarters and the half tools. If you take into consideration the width of the tool relative to how wide of an area you're stamping, you could conceivably set your forms to that given dimension and there'd be no need to cut the stakes off. This greatly reduces the need for hand tooling with tinker chisels. Let's show you how it's done. Pop out that quarter tool and go to that edge over there. We've just placed our concrete on our panel for our Venetian rotating marble stamp, and now we're getting ready to apply our color hardener. You'll notice once again, it's very important, Dave over here is rolling the bucket color so it loosens the color hardener. If you don't do that, it becomes compact, and when you throw it, you don't want a big clump. You want to throw a nice fluffy pattern. The color that we're using is CH325 Sandstone, and we are getting ready to apply our first application of Sandstone color hardener in a nice uniform layer. Remember, it needs to go on in 2 applications. The first application, 60% of the material will wet out, and then we'll bull float that, and then we'll come back with another coat of Sandstone with the remaining 40% color. Our next step on our Venetian rotating marble panel is to go ahead and broadcast our next remaining 40% color hardener. So Cody and Dave went through, they applied the first application of color hardener, 60% coverage. Again, we do have a little bit of a cool wind out here right now, so they went ahead and spritzed it with the evaporation retardant, the control finish. They've bull floated that in. They've edged everything again. Very important to edge in between, so it turns the color hardener into the edge joint. And now they're getting ready to apply their next application of color hardener. Here we are on our rotating Venetian marble. Dave and Cody applied their 40% remaining sandstone color hardener. So it's 100% coverage. They bull floated that. Once again, they addressed their edges with a hand edger, took their lines out with a hand edger, or with the hand float, and now John's coming back to flash in. Cream beige color hardener is our accent. Yeah. Okay, we're down to our two final steps prior to stamping. As you can see, what Dave is doing is he's applying a broadcast of the powdered release agent. The color is peso sand. So Dave is applying it with a brush. Now Cody's coming right behind and he's pre-texturing the whole perimeter in case the stamps overlap on top of the rigid form. Now we've already compressed texture down into the fresh surface of the concrete. One other observation on this Venetian rotating pattern, we've specifically set the forms width so it falls right in. We don't have to take any of the stakes out. So 4 tools wide will fit nicely right into the forms. We need to make sure our forms are square. Over here, we've already preconditioned our stamps. So you can see our Venetian rotating marble stamps have already been conditioned with a layer of powdered release on the surface. So once the guys finish releasing this surface and Cody finishes texturing the perimeter, we're ready to take off and stamp this panel. This Venetian rotating marble set has 6 rigid tools. So a 1, and then the next tool is going to be a 2, and then a 3, and then a 4, a 5, and a 6. So when you come back over here on the 1, your next tool should be at least a 3, and then you start the sequence again. So you don't see the repeating pattern. To be safe, you can, where the placard is, you could run the placard all facing one direction, but if you really wanted to get some variety, these tools can actually be ran 360. A nice feature on this set is the quarter tool that Dave's putting in, so you could actually go right square up against a wall, or a driveway edge, or a garage lip. Real nice, this quarter tool. So we'll come back in, and we'll set the number 2 tool. And then of course now we'll come with our number 3, and then we keep just advancing our quarter tool, so you've got a perfect square edge. Now when we go down the edge of the perimeter, once again we're going to use a half tool, so the stamps don't even overlap the form. It's a real nice feature. How's it feel, Johnny John?
Nice. Beauty. See this pound?
Sweet. Hey John. So you don't get confused on this pattern. The first row always starts like you see right here, butting up against each other, just like you see. Then of course the next full set, or next full pattern, is going to interlock right into here. But here's another nice feature about this pattern, is the half tool. So we can come right in here with our half tool. It's running square with the form edge right here, and now that dictates to you where to run the next tool. All right, we've placed our first 4 stamps. Now we're over here on the right side, and if you notice, the forms have been set properly, so there's not going to be any hand tooling, no detailing, no chiseling. The stakes are still in because of these half tools. Again, so we have a half tool on the opposite side, and we fit this half tool right in here. And as you can see, assuming the forms are square, look how it runs right down the form edge, real nice. Let's go take a tool up over here and see what we get. Now I want you to notice on handle placement, when John and Dave lift, did you see how the edges of the stamps peeled up so that it doesn't drag? And one other observation over here, One thing I'm looking for to see if we got full texture, which we did. We got 100% texture, but the color of the release agent will lighten up. It's almost like if you take flour raw and you compact the flour, it becomes real smooth and shiny. Same thing with the release agent. So if you look and this whole area has lightened up in color, that's an indicator that they've got 100% texture. Whereas if you pan out and look over here, the release is still dark. So we'll notice that when they stamp the tool down, take the tool up, the whole area should lighten up like you see right here. Right here we picked up the stamp and we got a little bit of bleed water, not bad, that stuck to the stamp. It's very important that you clean that bleed water off. If not, it'll continue to gain more and more suction with each pattern. So what we did is we put a light layer of powder release, brushed off the moisture. We're simply going to put the tool back in. And just stand on that area. All we're going to do is stand on it. And we're ready to move on to the next one. Yeah. Again, as the stamps advance, it's not a bad idea to have one person, perhaps two people on either side or even off the stamps detailing the joints like you see Rusty doing right here. This touch-up wheel matches the width of the grout joints on this Venetian rotating marble. Okay, the team is down to the final stages on our rotating Venetian marble panel here. And Cody and John on the edge here are going to go ahead and put in the flexible floppy. This is a good scenario of where a floppy tool would perhaps work really good here on the edge. It'd be a little bit difficult to have to try to hold a full rigid tool out here. So you'll notice as Dave comes across, John's going to kind of hold it up square. And once they tamp the appropriate amount of texture down, go ahead, then they're going to lift it up, rotate this tool all the way along this edge, and we'll call this panel complete. Well, there you have it. There's our completed rotating Venetian marble. Again, it's a beautiful pattern. This is a really attractive pattern considering the fact that you have the half tools and the quarter tools. And this one set alone with all 6 ridges, the floppy and the quarters and the halves, covers well over 130 square feet. So you can cover large areas very expeditiously, yet it produces a very elegant looking pattern. Okay, we've just finished washing the remainder of the powder release off of our rotating Venetian marble. To recap, the colors that we used was a sandstone color hardener. We put a light accent of cream beige color hardener, and then we used a peso sand powder release agent. Again, check with the manufacturer specifications. The next step on this panel, once it's dried, the sufficient amount of time, we would put our sealers down on this, and this could be finished. However, this particular pattern would be a beautiful pattern to come back and acid stain random stones. This would be a really beautiful pattern for that. Okay. Hopefully you've enjoyed our chapter on rotating Venetian marble. With some practice and some good color selections, you also can have some beautiful stamped concrete.